So I think for many construction companies here in Ireland, terms like automation and digital transformation actually frighten them to the point where they fail to engage. And I think it's more down to a lack of understanding of what these terms actually mean. So from my experience working in as an engineering surveyor overseas and here in Ireland, it's actually opened up my eyes to differences across cultures in terms of openness to innovation. Which leads me to my presentation today, which is not at all technical. It's actually more of a high-level overview of what automation actually means to our industry and how it can improve your business. So my name is Stephen Kennedy, and the theme of the presentation today is automation in the construction industry. So automation has revolutionized many industries since it was first conceptualized back in the 1940s. For the construction industry, automation refers to the application of robotic and information processing tools that carry out tasks in a safer and more cost-effective manner. So on the robotic side, what it does is actually reduces the possibilities of humans endangering themselves with heavy plant and machinery. And the information that's captured from automated processes is exponentially greater in terms of data capture, manipulation, and implementation. So, I mean, automation can essentially streamline and integrate our workflows in the construction industry. And as I mentioned, it's been introduced in many other sectors with significant results in terms of performance and productivity. For the construction workflows, it can integrate tasks that were once isolated in nature and now be performed with greater speed, accuracy, and quality. So we consider who is adapted to automation in our industry around the world. So if you consider as the USA or Australia, for example, they are now heavily dependent on automated technologies in their industry. And at first glance, I suppose you could surmise that they have established economies, they invest heavily in infrastructure and so on. There is merit to that rationale, but at the same time, you have to realize that these countries are also influenced, like ourselves, by education, legislation, and culture. And that's something actually I'm going to reflect on a little bit later in the presentation. So automation impacts the construction industry in a number of ways. I want to speak to you about a few of those now. So the major economic impact that automation has on the construction industry is that work should now be carried out once only and not require any rework due to human error. So it also takes a significant burden off the requirement to have skilled resources available at any given time. And the execution of work now becomes more measurable, meaning that our inputs and our outputs are more reliable, leading to cost reduction, competitive pricing, and generating higher returns. The time it takes for automated technologies to complete a task is far more efficient than that of traditional methods of design and build. It will reduce time wastage in terms of previously non-performing aspects of your workflow, and now you're going to have produced high quality on a more consistent basis, meaning you have specific budgets and precise timeframes. For me, safety is probably the most overlooked and undervalued component of automation in our industry. It's no secret that the construction industry is a dangerous game. It always has been, and there always will be an element of danger in the construction industry. If you consider a production facility these days that's now heavily automated, they have very standard inputs, very standard outputs, and very little human interaction in the meantime. But the nature of the construction industry and construction sites is that we have very unique tasks that need to be carried out on a daily basis. So there's always going to be an element of danger there due to that. What I think automated technologies provide us here is an opportunity to reduce the amount of human interaction with heavy plant and machinery and improve the overall safety of our working environment. So whether it be due to legislation, contractual agreements, specification, project complexity, or customer demand, I think the level of quality and performance that is required from construction output is rising all the time. So for the construction industry, an automated process can integrate the design and build process to deliver high quality to all involved, not just on the design side or on the build side, but both, an integration. Also, the richness of the data collection is so high now that we're now actually able to exceed past performance greatly. And finally, the impact of automation on employment in our industry. So throughout any industrial revolution, there has been winners and losers. The requirement for skilled labour historically diminishes over time, and the construction industry is going to be no different. So at the moment here in Ireland, we find ourselves riding the wave of another construction boom without the required availability of skilled resources. So I think what automation kind of provides us here is a partial solution to boom and bust cycles. It presents opportunities for skilled workers from other sectors to join our workforce where their skills are going to be applicable, such as IT. It also moves what were once skilled labour on the ground into middle management positions for data management, not to mention the employment that's created along the supply chain of automation, R&D, software development, manufacturing and so on. So I'm just going to play a short video for you now in a second, and it's just tried really to capture what an automated workflow now looks like on a construction site. So just to conceptualise it for you just a little bit, on a civil engineering project, earthworks is generally the most time-consuming and costly activity on that site. And traditionally, the way it would have been carried out was you would have machine operators in excavators and dozers cutting and filling material on the site to bring it up to level. And these levels were controlled by skilled labour on the ground using techniques such as laser levelling, string lines, tape, spray paint, you name it. So the problem with this is that it's very time-consuming, number one, but also it's very unsafe for the guys that are on the ground, interacting with heavy machinery on a daily basis.
Topcon's machine control has helped me with its simplicity and its efficiency. What has been key is that I've been able to work in my normal way of working and all the people I work with, but then we've been able to cassette all that information together, put it into 3D Office and then convey that out to the work site in a seamless manner. Basically, get the data, package it up, send it out to the machines.
I can't get a surface detail up, so I've messaged him back saying that there's a problem, I haven't got a surface detail. Then I get another map update with the surface detail in it, and that's fixed. That's a nice touch. I've been on machines 25 years. I've used other systems before, and it was hard work to start with, but then I came across Topcon and it became much easier.
By having a simple system, you will have efficient processes, and there's no adding on of extra work needed. It's just simple and efficient data workflows, and that's what Topcon's brought.
It's taken labourers out of the way, it's taken chain boys out of the way. With this system, there's no need for them to be there. They can sit quite comfortably in an office and send me the files that I need. I don't need them around. It's a risk that Topcon has taken away.
The materials that you use would, the damage to the materials, the setting out errors, a lot of those are eradicated straight away. I think SiteLink is a good choice because it's simple.
It is very easy to pick up. You can pick it up within an hour.
You don't need no fancy buttons. You get the information in, working in the way, put your digital terrain model, put in your line work, and put your localization file, and just push it out to the machine. It's as simple as that. There's an opportunity to say, let's lift the piling mat, or take the pilot mat, or slacken the batters. That's an engineering operational decision that needs to be done quickly. Then we will go and use SiteLink, go back to the office, do the necessary checks, and upload it in minutes. That's where silent really pays dividends.
So I'm just going to look towards the future of automation now in your business. So for me, on reflection, I think what automation is an integration of the following components. You have new product development, legislation, education, culture, and of course, strategy. So let's look at this from the perspective of a construction company here in Ireland, and I think we can ask ourselves a series of questions, okay? So I think it's important to regularly assess like where you are now, like what is your current competitive position and how can we create value? Like, ask yourselves questions such as, are we overly dependent on outdated workflows and methodologies? Are there elements of automation that can help relieve those dependencies? Are we flexible enough that we can adapt to radical technological changes? And can we scale the organisation appropriately to meet that demand? How can we apply the things that we are good at to aspects of automation? In terms of where do we want to be, while many other sectors including manufacturing, IT, banking services, they have engaged with technological innovation, and for the most part they have become drivers of innovation in their industries. The construction industry has been left behind really in comparison to its neighbouring sectors. So the digital age of construction is no longer on the horizon, it's here to stay. So a company in Ireland I think should be asking themselves, like, are we currently in a position where we can continue to create and capture value in a sustainable way using traditional methods of design and build? So Construction 4.0 is not just about innovation and new product development. It concerns a refocus of innovation in terms of business models, operations, and also strategy. So finally, how do we get there? So are we open to change and willing to provide the financial resources and training in order to join the movement? Can we shape our organisational culture to foster innovation and processes and provide the required leadership to implement new innovative strategies? I think that the recruitment process is going to have a big influence on a company's ability to adapt to innovation. Like, automation may refine operational processes in terms of direct labour on the ground, but it requires a whole new set of skills in order to maximise its full potential. The construction industry, like many, is cyclical, and 10 years on from the great boom to bust cycle here in Ireland, we find ourselves asking the question if we're going to be able to survive through a similar event in the near future. I firmly believe that automation can provide construction companies in Ireland with more efficient workflows so that they can contribute to sustainable construction. And the long-term effects of this may leave your organisation in a more stable position with the ability to respond to major changes in the economy. Thank you.